Good. Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone to July. The year's half over. Time flies, it seems like. But I want to welcome everyone to July 7th, 9 a.m. morning at Spencer County Fiscal Court. Lynn, it's good to have you back. Everything going good?
It's going.
Yeah, going well.
Up and down.
Good.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good to see you back. And as always, we'd like to, if you choose to pray with us, and we'll go to the Lord in prayer. Reverend Lewis, would you open our meeting this morning, please?
Almighty God, we come before you, Father, with praise and adoration, as always when we come into the presence of holiness. Father, we thank you for another day. Thank you for waking us up this morning, and thank you for just blessing us. Thank you for the opportunity to come today and to be with the fiscal court, Spencer County Fiscal Court, and thank you for the county judge and all of the officers, God. We just thank you for our community, and we ask, Lord, your presence today, your blessings upon all who are serving our community, and ask your blessings upon all of our families. God, we ask your blessings upon our nation, all of our leaders. God, we thank you for all who are present today, and we ask, God, that you would just be with us and protect us and keep us in your presence. We thank you in the mighty name of Christ, our Lord, we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you will, join us in the salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from 6/16. Oh, I'm sorry, jumping ahead. All right, Leah, Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Squire Stone.
Here.
Squire Harris.
Here.
Squire Eldridge.
Here.
Judge Travis.
Here.
Squire Travis.
Here.
Squire Cotton.
Here. We're all in tune. All right, yeah. Now, first on the agenda is approval of the minutes. I had a few on page 6. I'm pretty sure I did not vote on that motion. I wanted to add it in that I did not vote, where it says motion by Squire Travis and second by Squire Cotton. All members of the court present voting aye. The reason I didn't vote on that is because one of those signs is on the McGee Cemetery, is on my dad's property. So I wanted the minutes to reflect that I did not vote. Then on page, on page 18, I voted no on the motion to do the Edmonton Road thing. If you all remember, we had a voice vote, and I was the one voting no, and I would like that to be added, that I voted no on that particular motion. On page 24, just out of trying to not be as confusing, at the bottom, that is a sample flex. You can see Lewis Road and Taylor Road. You know, we don't have those roads, so I didn't want that in the minutes because the actual one is on the next page. So we should delete that sample flex program out. All right, on page 59 and 60 in the minutes, I believe that should be at the end past the bills. And then it has, I think I moved it. It has that we did something at 8 p.m. and that wasn't accurate. Yeah,
Executive
page,
session at 8:50 a.m.
right, AM, right, but see, this was a night meeting, so that couldn't be accurate, so.
Motion to approve with the recommended changes.
Are we just changing that to PM? Do you think that was at PM?
Well, did we even do executive session at the last meeting?
Yeah.
We did,
Yeah.
we didn't do any action,
No.
so, all right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Mike, to approve the minutes with the changes that were mentioned. And then you have the rest of the minutes.
If I don't have them submitted, I'll have them for our next meeting. Approve them before this meeting.
Yeah, okay. All right,
I'll wait.
all right, have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes with the changes mentioned, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is, we have a resolution for the Second Baptist Church, and we have a lot of folks with us today. And I would like to just welcome all of you all, or any of you all that would like to address us, and maybe each of you introduce yourselves and who you're with, and share with us the project that you guys are considering. I hope we can support.
Thank you, Judge. I will come first and I'll introduce the group and give them an opportunity also to speak. And thank you for the opportunity and for all of the Fiscal. I'm John Lewis. I'm senior pastor at the Historic Second Baptist Church. I've been serving there for 30 years. The past 7.5 years as senior pastor, I was the executive pastor for 10 years. I have with me today our associate pastor, Reverend Dr. Wanda Collins. And also I have with us Mike Haynes. He's the CEO of Winterwood Incorporated. And I have Josh Robinson. He's a counsel and does multiple things for Winterwood. Josh. And then we have the head of their construction, Jake Spielman. And then we have also with us from Cornerstone Engineering, the Vice President, is Travis Fox. And we will give them an opportunity to speak and answer questions before he answers questions. Historic Second Baptist is planning to construct a senior housing complex in 2026. And we've been working on this for a number of years, and it just has come to fruition. The planning of it this year just seems like the Lord has put it all together and just given us an opportunity to bless our community and seniors with affordable housing, and on the property of Historic Second Baptist Church. Plan is to address some of the needs for senior housing and to provide affordable housing in Spencer County. We have engaged, signed contracts with private contractors, Winterwood Incorporated, who has been in business for over 45 years, and they are located in Lexington, Kentucky. Also will be assisted by Cornerstone Engineering, who also has been in business around the same amount of years, 5 years or so, and they are from Louisville, Kentucky. Winterwood will also manage the housing units, and they will have, after the construction, they will have someone who would be at the property at least 4 half days during the week on the property. Plus, there will be a housing tenant made up of the members of council, made up of some of the members of the church, and the residents living in the apartments. The construction time will be begin 6 to 9 months after the approval of the financing through the tax credits through Kentucky Housing Corporation. And we expect the application will be filed in the 1st of August. And we expect response around January. And senior housing will be for age 55 plus. And the units are not HUD, it's not federally funded or Section 8, but Winterwood is working to keep it affordable where those living in Taylorsville will be able, seniors will be able to afford that. And then the plan is to build about 30 units and on 3 different stories with elevators. There will be equal numbers of 1 and 2 bedroom units. And then we have on our property the former Miners Chapel, which we bought about 10 years ago. And the plan is to renovate Miners Chapel and use it as a community center that will be open for the use of the residents and the community. Then we've been having discussion with the mayor and the county judge about the plan that they have for building a park on the school property. We also are interested in working to coordinate the building of the senior property to accommodate the site, the park, with pathways, with green space, with like a healing garden, and just a community to create a new community and just be a blessing to not just our church, but to the seniors living there and to the community, that it would just open up a whole new avenue around our area. So just want to communicate the plan and ask the blessings of the court and the support of Judge Travis for his support and encouragement. And we look forward to moving forward when we get all the approval necessary. And I'm going to ask if Mike or Josh and then Travis.
Good morning. Good morning. Reverend Lewis did a great job explaining the project. I'll give a little more background on Winterwood. Winterwood is a family-owned business. It started in 1979 is when family's ownership took place. We currently manage around approximately 15,000 units, 13,000 in Kentucky. We also started developing units. Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah.
We also started developing units in the last 10 years or so, and that's where we came into contact with the church. We have been working with them. We have a ground lease with the church to do the project that Reverend Lewis described pretty well. We're excited for the project. We're excited for Taylorsville. We've been in Taylorsville for 10 years. with a couple of other properties here. So we look forward to continuing that relationship and continue to build Taylorsville and bring the senior units to Taylorsville. It's a little different than what we have now, but we are excited to keep that going. Yeah, this thing kept falling down. But yeah, we're also in a few other states, but like I said, our focus is in Kentucky, approximately 15,000 units. We're just excited to be here. We're excited to work with the church. We're excited to work with Cornerstone on the engineering side. We're excited to work with the fiscal court with regard to the project of the park and to integrate with the park and to create a seamless community for everybody to enjoy. And if you guys have any questions now or in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are look forward to just all the information from you all and giving the information from our side. From the tax credit standpoint, we would love to answer any questions about that or really any other questions that you have.
So, this is just a senior living facility, not an assisted living?
That's correct. It's independent seniors 55 and older.
And everyone, I guess, is familiar. I'll tell the community. It's Second Baptist Church, I guess, has been acquiring the property around your campus for several years, and basically has accumulated more than enough property to do this. And it's located over here kind of between Bennett's Gas and the old ball field, and then it goes up to their property to the west there. And so, I mean, I'm sure it's been a dream of you guys for a long time.
For about 8 years.
And so now it's coming together. There's a process to go through. I believe they're seeking tax credits from Commonwealth of Kentucky. I know you mentioned it wasn't any federal funding, it would be state, I guess, and private, or?
It's the tax credits are federal.
Oh, they're federal?
In nature. I'll let Mike speak to that just a little more. He's a little more active on that side.
Thank you, Josh. Good morning, everyone. So yes, it's private capital. We use the tax incentives to draw that capital in. And so that helps bring the capital in, is those tax incentives. Yeah.
So, but basically, what they are, we had a meeting the other day, and the mayor and myself and Representative Tipton, we were all in attendance with a lot of these guys and several other interested folks, and they were pitching their idea, and I invited them here this morning to share with us what they have planned. And basically, they're seeking our support of their program, of their project. And on page 78, I have it's a very simple resolution that I would like you all's consideration in passing. Just basically that we can sign and give to them, and they can include it in their paperwork, and hopefully that'll help get their funding lined up. Basically, it just says a resolution of support for Second Baptist Church Senior Citizen Complex Project. The Second Baptist Church has proposed the development of Senior Citizens Complex to address the growing need for affordable senior housing in our community, and whereas this project reflects a commitment to serving our aging population and enhancing quality of life through safe, accessible housing options, and now therefore be it resolved that Spencer County Fiscal Court hereby expresses its support for Second Baptist Church's proposed senior citizen complex and recognizes the value of such a development would bring to the community. We affirm our commitment to supporting the church's efforts, contingent upon the successful grant and funding approvals. Do we need to add anything to that? Okay.
So moved.
I second. All right, we have a motion by Mike, second by Zach, to approve this resolution in support of the Second Baptist Church's efforts on this program, on this project. Is there any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We will get this signed and given to you guys, and, we'll go from there.
I'd like to thank the fiscal court, really appreciate it, guys, and we'll be back along the way to give progress updates.
All right, that'd be great. This will really be a good addition to our community as a whole.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
As far as the name of the facility, we have a contest that started on yesterday, and will run through July 27th, accepting names from the community as well as the church. And on the 27th, we will close it on the 2nd. Trustees and deacons will narrow it down to 3 and present it on the August 3rd to the church to vote on, to select a name that we might be able to give it to Winterwood by the 4th, so that it has to appear on the application for the tax credit. So it's open, Judge, I'll send you a link.
Okay.
You can share it with, we want the community input from the community. Also, we plan to have a forum at the church and the Life Center that we will open up to the community, that we can share the vision and the plan with the community and get input from the community.
Yeah, that's great. We give it a name, and that names give life.
Yes.
And it'll represent a life that we can all support and nurture, and hopefully here in a couple, 3 years, I was telling them at the meeting that like next spring, I want to see y'all equipment in there digging, and then a year from now, we want to see stuff being built upwards.
Absolutely.
And
So I want to also just introduce Travis Fox. He's a vice president of Cornerstone.
Yeah.
And Cornerstone will be working along with Winterwood and our community, and just we're excited to have them. One of the head of their construction division is one of our former ministers. So we're delighted both Winterwood and Cornerstone. We know they will just build something that we all will be proud of.
that sounds wonderful. We thank you all. You're welcome to stay till lunchtime, or you can get out.
We're going to go back and talk more.
But
We're going to take advantage of the opportunity, and we have a lot of work to do.
yeah, call on us. Call on us anytime you need us.
Thank you. And if you
All right,
have
thank
any
you.
questions, please, the judge has my contact info.
Yes. All right, thank you all. Thank you. All right, next we have communications from citizens. Any citizen in the audience like to address the court? All right. Next, then we have zoning readings. Angie?
We just got 2 second reading on both of these. On the first one, we've got the Michael T. and Jane Orm requesting Ag 1 agricultural to Ag 2 agricultural on 7.197 acres, shown as tract 30A of Lake Ridge Estates, located at 565 Highway to Highway. Commissioner Greenwell made a motion to recommend the rezoning of the Orms, requesting the zone change. The recommended land use in the comprehensive plan was mixed use with high density, and change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan. There was no one there to speak against it. Commissioner Osborne seconded the motion. Roll was called, and the motion carried.
Motion to approve the zoning change based on the facts and findings of the planning and zoning commission.
Second. All right, we have a motion by Will, seconded by Zach, to approve the zoning change of the Orms based on facts and findings of planning and zoning. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, Angie. Another one?
Yep, we have the application of Floyd and Jana Disco Estates and Lori Culture requesting Ag 1 agriculture to R1 residential on 1 acre, shown as tract 1 at 2285 Goose Creek Road. Commissioner Osborne made the motion, and say the recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommended low density residential, the change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, as no one there to speak against it, with the condition of having an easement put on the plat. I think we talked about that last time, I'm not mistaken, because I did that. Too, yeah, because that 20-foot access easement's been there forever, so. And then it was seconded by Wheatley, roll was called, and the motion carried.
Motion to approve based on the facts and findings of planning and zoning.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, second by Dan, to approve the planning and zoning change from the INSCOs based on the facts and findings of planning and zoning. Is there any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, anything else for zoning?
I think that's it, and I was gonna ask Bubba if the email you sent Julie, I seen it this morning, are you doing anything with that today?
I'm not.
Okay, we'll just make good next time.
I mean, I didn't know, that's why I thought, depending on the meeting, you had Thursday night and then the training, if I wanted to pass them out, we could add them today to pay them, but if not, we can wait the next
I
meeting.
just wanted to let her know which one we go. All right, thank you all.
All right, thanks, Andy.
I'm ready.
If anyone in the audience gets dry, we got it. Leaded and unleaded. Right there. All right. Next on the agenda is item 2, on page 83 of the book. The Committee for Planning and Zoning, Magistrate Jim Travis had asked about that, and have a committee. The suggested members are down here. Jim, if you'd like to discuss or address any of this?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a while with the possibility of getting a new road in from Jefferson County, 5-lane, whatever it is. And then our newly expanded sewer system that we're getting at Flight. I mean, both of those probably years down the road, but they'll be here before we know it. And we need to look at our planning and zoning regulations, subdivision regulations, and make some amendments and changes to them to address this growth that we're going to have. Because if we don't have some sort of something in place, we're going to see one of the biggest increases in population in Spencer County since we saw when the lake opened, I believe. When the new road comes in and all the roadways there in eastern Jefferson County, they're talking about doing Route Road, widening all that up to Route Road, a new interchange on I-64 between Blankenbaker and Simpsonville. So all this is going to increase our population, there's no doubt about it. So we need to get kind of our rules and regulations down to where we don't have to do this after the fact. So I just suggested, I know I've been on a lot of committees, and the more people you have on a committee, the more opinions you have, the less will get done. So the fewer people you have on the committee, I think, which the committee just recommends to the court, is all it does. It doesn't make decisions, it just recommends. And I would be willing to do it. Dan is willing to do it. And then Todd Birch from the road department as we need to. And then Julie Sweezy, or planning and zoning representative. And then Eric Bean from QK4. Of course, we have to pay him if he comes out here, but we'll just pay him as needed. You know, maybe we'll make recommendations and then call him in, and he can say, okay, yeah, we can do this on an engineering standpoint or whatever. So that's what I'd like to see us do, and actually meet maybe once a month here on whatever night we can, and just go over our regulations. I know Julie has printed up a whole booklet back there. They're back there for anybody that wants one. Our current regulations and all that. So we'll just, start hashing through them and make some changes and, bring it back to the court. So that's the idea, is to kind of get ahead of the ballgame.
We could put another member from the court and still not have a quorum if another member would like to be on it.
You wanna do it?
Me?
Yeah.
Nah, you don't need to,
Well-
you got too much on this court.
I mean,
That sounds good, because you got a biased committee on here. Not that you
You wanna do it?
No, I don't have time to do it, I mean, 100% honest. We
Should I say I wanna do it?
Yeah. But I'll do it, no, yeah, put me on there,
no, we're, all right,
unless someone else is itching. Itching.
I'm not scratching that.
okay. All right, Master Eldridge, would volunteer also. All right, so.
I'm just volunteering if there is a motion to do this.
Okay, now we can, which if, I tell you, if we could have morning meetings, then we wouldn't have to pay overtime, but I don't mind paying overtime to Julie and Todd.
Let's do it tonight, we can do the same.
Tonight would be good for me.
All right, if we, then it's not an issue, that'll be fine.
I don't think Todd will need to be there very often myself,
No,
but
him and Eric either one, just time to time, if we need.
Yeah. But again, like Jim said, you know, nothing, it all has to come through us, so whatever they suggest, they'll bring to us, and we can agree, or we can hash through it like we did the solar regulations if need be.
So, I know, Kipton also, they volunteered to, lend a hand on this too, because they deal with regulations from 9 counties, that way, you know, and all that, so they've been through this before, and they're willing to help us too, at no charge, so we'll call on them too.
All right. So, if everyone seems to be in agreement, I'll make a motion to, for us to appoint the committee with the suggested members of Jim Travis, Dan Ferris, Will Eldridge, Todd Birch, Julie Sweezy, and Eric Bean as needed to, look through all of our zoning regulations and make recommendations back to the court.
Second.
All right, have a motion by myself, seconded by Zach, to approve us putting this committee together for the zoning regulations. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? One week, no, but it sounds like the A's had it, so.
yeah, you put yourself on it, then I would yourself that's because I want it, because it's a biased committee in my opinion, but I don't think we need to make changes to what we have at the moment. So I'm not gonna vote yes to it.
All right, so, all right, the motion passes and the committee is established. So, and Jim, I guess, can you kind of be the chair of the committee?
We don't want me to be the chair of the council. We won't have no meeting.
I'll be glad to do it, you know. That's no
Okay.
problem.
All right.
So, whatever.
You know, that way you can,
We basically just setting up the meeting nights and then,
yeah, and we'll help you. We'll help get the meeting room set and just let us know. And we'll send out meeting notices and stuff for you. It'd be easy. Try to make it as easy as possible. All right. All right, thank you all for that. I have the Farmers Market Pavilion construction loan options. I would like to talk about that a little later. Now we have EMS. Robert? On page 84, some different things with the
Where's it started? What's the first one?
page 84,
radio.
radios.
Portable radios.
We got awarded our grant from the state this year, through EMS, or that word EMS.
Hold the mic around there if you would. You probably need to grab it down there next to the podium. There you go. Just keep pulling, it'll be heavy.
A little bit more vertical.
Yeah, vertical. That's better.
Better.
Yeah.
For the cutting board EMS, we have chosen to purchase new portable radios and sub-communications equipment this year with that money. Last year, we
replaced all our training equipment, so this year we're gonna replace our communications equipment. We got $9,811 from the state for the grant to purchase 89 radios and 1 alert pager. I talked to Scott about this. If we can buy the additional 4 with the bank charger, we could replace all our outdated radio equipment now at one time. That would give the option to you all.
When you say outdated, that means it's just outdated, but still operable at the moment.
Works at the
correct?
time, but cannot be fixed.
Okay.
And we have a box full of portable radios that we can't even fix anymore because they don't even make parts for them anymore. So he told me to write it up, give it to you both ways. We can spend just what the grant gave us, or you can approve the additional amount and we can replace everything we need to replace the EMS, and we won't need more portable radio equipment for the foreseen future.
I'll make a motion to spend just what the grant allows, purchase the 9 portables and 1 alert pager for $98.11.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion by Mike, second by Will, to only purchase the radios that the grant provides for, 9811. Any discussion?
I have a question. One in a second. If these radios that you want to buy, I mean, if the rest of this radio stuff changes, I assume this is gonna continue to work, that's what you.
Yeah, everything on both those poles is the compatible equipment that we're gonna need anyway, so.
We have a few of these now
Yeah.
that are working good, that we can get parts for and stuff, and we're trying to phase out all the other.
We have more of a majority of radios that can't be fixed. We're like the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office has a lot of their radios that are gonna have to be replaced, that as they need to be replaced, because they can't be fixed or worked on anymore, because they just don't have the parts. We're literally, best I can say, we're Frankenstein radios and trying to put pieces together to get them to work correctly right now. That's kind of where we're at.
Are you doing that often? You have radios breaking that often? Good.
Our older radios, they're very older model portable radios, and we're having to tweak them and replace things on them constantly. So you come down to my office, I have a bin full of parts that we pull from one to put on the other, to screens and.
How much does that game charger thing cost by itself?
That's how much it is by itself.
$5,933 on the charger?
No.
That's 4 radios and a charger, but how much is just a charger?
$8.99, well,
Radio.
$8.99.
Well, I just, thought that if everything's working right now, if they need something, we'll replace it, but the idea of trying to save a little money right off the bat with the new fiscal year. If they need something, we'll replace it as needed, but this will give them some new stuff to start with, and hopefully they'll have, obviously I don't want EMS to do without, but I don't think this is gonna cause a lapse in coverage or service.
On that same note, the 9 portables that we're replacing, what we have, what we have, so basically what you're saying is you're gonna have 4 that are gonna be the same, you're gonna be old ones, but then what we're doing here. So the 9 that we're replacing, those parts not being interchanged with those 4. Okay, so we got a whole string of portables, none of them are the same.
Hey, Robert, what do you got, do you use a game charger now?
No, we use individual chargers, but they burn out on those, so with those individual chargers are $100-200 a piece as it is anyway. So we're trying to get one game charger that can go on the station that the radios can all go in.
Well, they'll burn them.
So, all right, how many employees, we're gonna buy 9 with this grant. So, and then you have a few. How many employees
We've
was,
got way more than a few radios right now.
Yeah.
well,
Y'all keep saying a few, but you're like way off. How many working radios do you have right now? 15 or something?
The older radios?
Just a radio that works, that's able to go out on the street and work.
Oh, 15, 16, that work right now, yeah.
Yeah, but they just can't be working.
Yes.
When they die, you'll have 14 radios. When the next one dies, you'll have 13 radios.
Yeah, so when they get this
Yeah, I
nine,
mean,
they'll have essentially 28 radios right now.
Yeah, I mean, well.
So when you get, where I'm going is, when you get down to having 4 or 5 all that's spare, you can come back to us and we can address getting more radios.
No, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's the point, they got all, plenty of.
Well, that's all
After
it
this,
is,
they'll have
kids, we might
plenty
get
of
more
work
grants,
radios.
and then if we do a little bit at a time, we get more grants that come a little bit at a time.
Could you, would you or do you put it in your budget, like every year, to replace automatically?
No.
Radios,
No,
like, you know, 2 per month or 1 per month?
No, we don't have a line like that in our budget. We have an EMS equipment supply line, I guess, if we need to utilize some of that line to replace.
You know, what I'm saying is, you know, if you got it in your budget where you could purchase those as needed and not come up with a big item number, you know, every few months, so.
I mean, that's definitely something that I can discuss with the judge's office.
All right, any other discussion?
I'd
Go ahead, Jim.
I'd like to amend the original motion to include the $8.99 for a game charger. That's, I don't keep track of 20 chargers and making sure that they all function and have a place to plug in. It's probably difficult. I know these game chargers are.
I'll second that.
All right, we have an amendment on the floor to the original motion that would add the words to also include a game charger for $899. So that's the amendment on the floor.
They brought these in, this is the radio that we're going to, a lot of us have these. This is the radio that we cannot fix anymore. Us and the sheriff's office have quite a few of these. And then these are, we can still get some parts for these, but they're starting to be phased out for this radio now. So we're trying to all get to this. That's our goal, is to all get to this radio.
In 5 years, that'll be obsolete and we'll be buying some more.
That'll last a long time.
I mean, this radio's about 10 years old,
Yeah.
Okay, how old's that other one?
probably 6, 7 years old.
Okay, let me ask this question. When you're out on a run, will the old radio just quit? I'm sure they quit when you're using them. When do they typically break?
I mean, it could be anything. I mean, I can't predict what's going
Well,
on.
I mean,
sometimes you just don't, you turn it on and they don't come
Yeah,
off.
sometimes you just didn't.
Well, what I'm trying to do is nail down exactly when that is. When you start your shift, it won't work. Does it happen then, or does it happen while you're out on the road?
It could be both.
So it could be equally both.
I mean,
Okay.
their radio could be working fine the whole shift, and 2 hours later, it's not working.
When it's on your side and you're running to get a patient, and you go to use it and it doesn't work, how long does it take to get one that works? Hopefully your partner's works.
Hopefully.
Well, here's my thought, you got 9 new radios and you got your shift, I would think you're gonna bring in your new radios.
Yes.
I would keep new radios for everyone that's going out in the ambulance. They have a new radio and say,
I mean, we will transition these radios to spare radios.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So even if you got 9 of them, you're only relying on 1 or 2 of the old ones, I think you're in pretty safe shape to say the radio's gonna work.
Oh, we're actually put us in really good shape with the 9 we got with the grant. So.
That's one reason that I would propose that we get the game chargers. It makes, that way you don't have the same person picking up the same radio all the time.
Yeah.
And that radio's gonna quit faster than, you gotta, if you can control the inventory better. Say these radios are going out now, these radios are going out next.
And if you don't, it'd probably be good practice to, I mean, I know everyone surely checks the radio before they head out.
Well, and the majority of our radios are issued to personnel that live in the county for off-duty responses and stuff like that. So a lot of these radios are issued to, some of these radios are issued to single people that.
Well, I support the amendment, and I'm gonna support the motion that Mike made about just getting the $9,800 worth. But I want to say this, I want to lead into this. Everyone has watched the news that I've watched since 4th of July about all the flooding in Texas. Can you imagine any of these guys, all of these guys, if that were to happen here, and when it rains 20 inches, you're gonna be flooded. This room would probably be up to the ceiling if it rained 20 inches like it did in Texas. They're gonna be out hustling, running. You know, they had the rescuers this morning, the worst thing that they dread, that they don't wanna happen, is to find a dead person. But they're looking for dead people. I mean, the more and more you watch, if you're not taken in and kind of overwhelmed by what they're going through, we need to apply that to us as government officials. And, you know, they were debating the warning sirens. Could the warning have done better? I thought, well, boy, here's deja vu, kind of what we went through with tornadoes, but we kind of chuckled, but at the same time, we took steps, and we have mitigated, I think, that problem. And I'm sure that those Texas towns have tried to mitigate steps. But when it rains 20 inches, you're gonna have a disaster. And I wanna make sure that everyone, and as long as you all are on top of, I don't want somebody going out and radio quit and somebody get injured or deceased. So as long as y'all are on top of it, and I trust that you are.
That's where we're working.
So, all right.
What, the old radios, do y'all have an avenue where you can donate those to other agencies ones that are still working? Or how do you do that?
I mean, I think on our aspect, the older radios we just hold on to for parts. I mean, that kind of, as one breaks, we put it aside, and then if another one goes down, we try to see what parts we can take off that one to make this one work again. That's kind of.
So basically what you're saying, if these radios were used cars, you'd have the whole 5 acres out here where they'll build.
No, I have a whole lot of used cars out there,
Right.
alternators off of them.
We driving parts off of used cars.
Well, you gotta see, you talk about natural disaster, I think it'd be great if you even if you got 15 extra radios right now, something like that happens, there's gonna be plenty of people come to help, and you can say, hey, here's a radio.
You know, and as we get more radios, that kind of plan is to put some of these portable radios in the EOCs, so we have incident management teams that have to come in, we can provide them a radio that to use, and we're not trying to steal from either Cape Hall, so.
All right, we have an amendment on the floor. Any other discussion? All right, so we're voting on the amendment to the motion, which added the language to purchase a game charger for $899. That's what we're voting on now. All right, all those in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Now we have the motion as amended, which states that we will pay, we will use $9,811 to purchase 9 portables and 1 alert pager, and also to purchase a game charger for $899. That's what we're voting on right now. Motion as amended. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right. Next, Robert.
Resignation thing.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Tiffany Williams submitted her resignation. I'm sure y'all got the email. She didn't give any notice, so we moved K.L. Boyd into that 24-hour position, and we're going to be doing interviews and taking applications for an open 12-hour position.
Basically, we would need to vote on these positions because the rate of pay is changing. It's actually going backwards.
It is for them because our 12-hour people make more on the hour because they have less overtime built in than our 24-hour people do. So his pay would go from, I think that rate is 1912 now, and it would go to.
It says 1862 to 1620.
Right, I forgot to add the
You didn't add
50
the
rate to that
50.
1862.
But
Is it added to the 1620?
Yeah, because that rate is 1570, so whatever the 50 cents is today, 1570, 1620 would be his rate.
all right,
So moved.
all right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach and seconded by Will to approve the change for Mr. Lloyd for the 24-hour, to the 24-hour from 12-hour, and the new pay rate will be $16.20, correct? All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, next on the agenda, we have, I hope you all had time to read from page 89 till about 96, 97, let's see.
I read this, you know, I got an initial question. I thought that the county and the fire district and the city was gonna do all this together. And we was all gonna put something together, and like the fire district and the city, we was gonna try to get everybody, for them to pay like a third towards this, all gonna be on the same plan. And now I've been made aware that the city and the fire district,
Have already sent out their bids.
they've already sent out bids to do their own thing. And I know that the guy that we had studied, he returned something back to your office in June, which I haven't seen, which I think it was to go along with whatever the fire department and the city is bidding out. And I don't really know how to get this train back on track, but if we're gonna do that, we should all go together, and it seems like everybody wants to go in different direction.
Well, the train's still on track.
This train's still on track. Here's what happened is the fire department decided to go ahead and get their bids out because I guess it levied on their abilities on grant stuff that they're using, grant money that they get from the state to be able to fund a portion of theirs. So they took theirs out. The city decided to cover all law enforcement. So they went on to put theirs out, which left the only agency needing anything really with this would be the EMS and fiscal court. So I guess it's just the way it.
So the city's gonna cover the bill for our sheriff's office, radio communications
They're
office?
covering all of law enforcement. Fire department's covering all the fire department, and our responsibility is just EMS and emergency management. That's-
And it's still.
It all comes out of the
third.
third, but it's kind of a.
But here's
But could potentially you have three different vendors installing three different radio systems on the same site to cover three different municipality entities?
I would
Well,
hope.
if you read through this, I mean, it's like everybody's gonna have a different tower that they're operating off of.
The city and the fire department are staying at Hunter Road, and we're staying at Fairgrounds.
But you're
on
doing
the
the
tower.
tower three site.
But then all of us are gonna be on
So is it.
Fisher Farm and Hickory Ridge.
And the county, the city's doing a two site?
See, fire department's only doing
The
two.
fire department does not need to invest in Mount Eden area because Mount Eden Fire Department.
So they're
Pretty well
already
covered.
upgrading two of the areas that they covered.
But you could be potentially, if everybody goes with a different vendor, you could have three different vendors installing on all three of them sites, right? Potentially?
Potentially, but I think that you're gonna, any vendor that's gonna bid for this,
Okay.
they're gonna play that into it, and they're not going to. I know speaking with,
Well, I mean, it all depends on how it's worded. So like if I'm sitting there and I'm bidding this, and you're coming to me, telling me to bid this to the EMS in Spencer County, and I'm gonna bid it to the EMS in Spencer County, I'm not gonna know, looking at a piece of paper, that the city's doing it, that the fire department's doing it. It has to be in their bid sheets, when I'm getting that.
I want to make sure we all work with the same person. I think it'd be smart.
Well, I believe that
But it's-
us,
Yeah, yeah.
through Robert, and the fire department through the chief, and Andrew and the Taylorsville Police Department through their chief. You know, we've got four individuals right there that, and we've had meetings collectively, everyone mentioned, and I've attended, where we have discussed, and we have stayed on the track of, that it'll all still be split by a third. But each of the people that I just mentioned will all be sitting at the table when the bids are reviewed.
Well, I understand that part of it too. But still, the same aspect of it is, Robert, you know, he's gonna go one way, he's gonna think we're one way, where we're kind of set at, you know. Nathan's gonna set it one way because he knows what they've got to spend.
I will say this, that this RFP is the same one for all three of us.
Oh, so you're bidding the same stuff?
It's all the same. I mean, this is literally what Nathan sent the city and Nathan sent me, and then I went in and changed the wording to take the fire department's out of it, and put Spencer County Fiscal Court in it.
You know, I think any vendor that comes is gonna, and obviously all three of them guys are gonna say, hey, you know, we're all doing this. And if I was a vendor coming to do something, you're obviously gonna bid it all. But in my opinion, it's kind of disappointing, you know, this got dropped on us real quick like this. Then it was, well, we're gonna put a lot of information together, somebody's gonna come present something. I said then, I still say now, this is Spanish to me, don't know nothing about y'all's communication system. And I mean, there still ain't really been nobody come and say X, Y, Z, and I don't think that's your expertise either, which I wouldn't expect it to be, you know.
I mean, I have as much knowledge in it as I need to have in it.
Exactly.
I'm not an expert in it.
You don't go out and install these systems every
No,
day.
I don't go out, but, I mean,
So, I mean, it's disappointing that someone's not here, in my opinion, to explain, you know, why we really need this, and I know we have dead spots.
I think the biggest thing is you know, getting out the bid, because we don't even know the numbers yet. I mean, without putting it out for bid, I couldn't tell you the exact amount. I can go by what they estimated,
Yeah.
what they spitballed us, but I can't give you the exact numbers. I wish I could give you exact numbers, but I mean,
So,
without
all-
the bid, I can't tell you anything.
All these people come in to bid this, you hope the vendors all bid on everything, and then they're gonna come back and whatever the best bid is, everyone's gonna agree to pay a third of it.
Yes, that's it.
That's the ideal.
intent. And if it doesn't happen that way, then I don't think we should support it.
And they'll come and explain it too, that'd be my, they'll explain everything, whoever we go with. I guess we're trying to avoid having 15 different vendors come here and talk to you all, trying to get the bidding process started and narrow it
Well, who
down.
put this whole sheet together? Nathan? I think Nathan should have come in here and explained what he wanted to know, or what this was about, but.
That's why Bill's here.
Wake up, Bill.
He put you right on the
And
spot,
I mean, in a perfect way that should have went, we all should have put our bids out at the same time. I get that. But it just didn't.
Well,
It didn't work that way.
Well, yeah, and,
this is just getting started, this is just getting started.
Everybody that bids on this, outside contractors, they're gonna know that there's three bids. They're gonna know that. And they're gonna, most of them, well, they'll bid on all.
Well, you might have one small company come in and says, I can't handle all of this, but I think I can do this like cheaper. They come in 30 grand cheaper on one site, are you gonna hire the 30 grand cheaper or not? Then you're gonna have one
But-
person building their own tire.
But I mean, the good thing is, everything's gonna be to the same spec regardless of job. Who does it?
Yeah.
Scott, I'd like to send an email to John Vetters at your office. Vetter, the people that we contracted with, I just called him this morning because I saw this on there. I said, where'd you get that proposal together? He said, well, I sent something to the judges on something 16th of June. I said, well, I haven't seen it. I thought maybe it might have been only fair before we make a decision and we see what.
well, really today, all we're deciding is right here, right now, is to ask for bids. We're
Yeah,
not
we're just
committing
advertising
to
the
nothing.
bids. Yeah, we're not approving.
We're just asking for bids. We have to go through this process, and he is very welcome to bid on it, and anyone else is welcome to bid on it. Bill?
Nathan said he could come here and explain if you wanted him to.
What's that?
Nathan,
It'd be good.
Well, I mean, we're not gonna sit here and wait.
Yeah, we're not gonna wait on him, but we got more to talk about, on this. So basically,
If everyone wants, if the majority wants to get a bid, then do it, and we'll hash it out later.
all we're doing here is asking for bids. All we're doing here is asking for bids. And I want to, and I will say, Mike, this whole thing is evolving as we move. And I know, I don't think we're operating in haste at all. It may appear that we're operating in haste, but this is a weekly, not a daily, but this is a weekly topic that we're discussing, and a lot of work has been done trying to get to where we are today. And, the fire department being held up and going out on their own is completely out of our control. But they are still going to work with this and be an equal contributor. And I think we need to give it some positive consideration. The city has stepped up, the police chief has stepped up, and the city has said, we'll cover your sheriff too. So law enforcement is on the same page. I think that is a nice gesture. So you've got the fire department putting the gesture out, you've got the city putting the gesture out, and the part that we need to pick up and carry is the EMS portion. And all we're asking here is to get bids.
Let me just say, I'm fine with it. If they gotta apply with their grant, and that's fine, I'm fine with putting it out for bid. I'm perfectly fine with that. I understand we gotta get something done. I understand that we gotta upgrade our radio system, and I don't care really what speed it does. I was just pointing out the fact that they got charged $1,000. We all agreed to have an independent study for him to make sure that we was gonna be bidding out what we need. And I think it was only fair that us as the fiscal court that voted to have that done, see what he reported back. And we haven't gotten that, because it was supposed to be, does he agree, what his recommendation is of what you're supposed to bid out. And that's my only complaint, is that us as the fiscal court, we voted to get his opinion, and we have not seen his opinion, but we're wanting to bid it out. But, I mean, otherwise, we might as well just took that $1,000 and lit it on fire if we're not gonna share what he showed, or what his findings were.
Do we have that information?
I have discussed with, I have discussed the conclusions of what he said and what I was told. And he agrees that we're going in the right path.
Okay.
Did he tell you that this morning?
He did tell me that.
All right, that's good. Then what's the problem?
Well, I'd just like to see it. I think it's being kind of deceptive if the fiscal court voted to have that done, but it's not being shared in writing, the results of that with the fiscal court. I mean, all it had was just hit the forward button and put our emails in, and we would have had it, and I'm just pointing that out. And I still want to see it, but I'm fine if y'all want to go ahead. If anybody wants to make a motion, I'll make a motion that we go ahead with this bid process.
Before we get there, the solicitation schedule, which obviously we're gonna vote to issue the RFP today. But what's the mandatory pre-bid meetings? That set up, the fire department got to put their bids out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have 3 different mandatory pre-bid meetings, and we're gonna try to do that at one time. What's the date for that?
I can't answer that.
Yeah. There's some mandatory dates on here that's going out in this RFP. Go down there and look for the second. It's not even what we're voting on.
Well, I would assume that you all would collectively meet as we've been meeting in the past, collectively. So, in any decision, all of you would be at the table, or all of us would be at the table.
I'll second Mike's motion.
All right, we have a motion by Mike, second by Jim, to approve the request for advertising for RFP for communications upgrade. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right,
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Doesn't have anything to do with that, but I do, for the sake of transparency, I do think that the email should be forwarded to all members of the fiscal court, or else just a hard copy given out to us, because it was something that we voted on to do. So we should see the results. Not that they're gonna change anything, but just because we voted to see it, or to do it, so we ought to see what we voted on return.
Agreed.
Well, I'll give you all the total honest answer. I don't know that I ever read that email. I don't know where it got sent to. I don't know that I remember reading exactly what it says. So, but we will hunt and find it.
They said they sent it.
Yeah, June 16th?
June 16th.
All right.
He looked it up this morning and said, yeah, here it is, I sent it on the 16th.
June 16th.
Mike, if you could just contact him and just give him our email addresses.
I could do, if you didn't receive it,
anyway.
that's one thing. But I thought you said you received it.
I know we inquired about it, myself and Nathan, and.
They received it, I know.
No, we did not receive it. We were told they would not give it to us. It had to go to fiscal court.
Well, he told me he wanted to send it to the judge because the fiscal court was the one that actually made the request and paid the money.
And that's what he told us.
Well, I mean, to simplify it, if he has the email, just have him forward it to, then we'll have it.
The only thing I had to go on was the conversations we had with him, being out there with him and the guy that was with him doing the study.
Right.
And he told us, him and his gentleman that was with him, told us that it sounded like we were on the right track, that we were going down the right path that we were supposed to be going.
That's what I heard.
And that's what we were told, that's what we were.
I just wanted to see the totality of his analysis. It may something in there we may want to use in the future, or something that we could,
We had a meeting that morning, and he was there, and his guy was there. We all met together before they went out and did their study.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we're gonna change anything, but
Us we'll see the results of it.
just,
I'll see if I can. Well, if y'all can't find it, you let me know and I'll have John look it up.
Yeah, that'd be good. All right,
What I gave you all, this is just some breakdown of numbers over the last 4 fiscal years. You ran the numbers from our.
yeah. Passed aye. I was thinking myself, Dan, but I think it passed.
I got lost there.
Now, one thing I did have a question, and again, we did pass that. Is that enough time on page 97 to do all the bids?
Well, it has to be between 7 and 21 days, so.
Because, I mean, we can't get it in the newspaper till next week.
I think it's gonna be in the newspaper.
But from us, it won't be, unless we've already sent it. Because we
have it.
So.
You gotta remember, this is all separate now. So, it don't matter if they put it in the newspaper.
Yeah, now we gotta put it in the newspaper.
Well, but I was under the impression from Karen, they were going to go ahead and send it to the newspaper because
And hold it.
they could rescind it easier than
That's
trying
what
to
I
get
was-
it put in late, so.
That's what I
I
was
was told that it was
remembering.
gonna go in the newspaper on the 10th unless this was voted down today, then a phone call could have been made and it could have been told.
So how many days you give?
Was that what was done?
Yeah,
Karen had to say?
I don't know why she
You'd have to
would,
ask
we
Karen.
voted to do it.
Well, but like he just said, it was there. See, again, the timeline is this morning, like right now. So, I mean, we could notify the paper now and it could get in this week. So, but that, that we're supposed to open bids at our next meeting, the night of the meeting.
You ask somebody to bid something this magnitude, at least ought to give them.
It needs more time than.
I think at least you ought to give them 3 weeks to 30 days. I mean, I think if you rush people sometimes.
Well, I
they
mean,
start
once
throwing
again,
this
we're all
stuff
under
in their butt,
the
and they-
assumption that these same bidders are gonna be the same bidders that are gonna vote on it. and
They're already working on it.
They're already working on it, so I mean, I don't see an issue with the time.
I assume the same way, but
Exactly.
Well, next,
your bids don't like it, you're good.
next item on the agenda, which,
Yeah, somebody said we did.
Madam Clerk, it did pass the last motion,
Oh,
correct?
all right, I can, excuse.
I just, real quick, this wasn't on there, I just gave you all some numbers over the last 4 fiscal years, just for y'all to, for your all perusing. And I know there's been a lot of talk with the Medicaid issues with the new bill that passed and ambulance funding and stuff. I mean, they are working at the state level to work on that Medicaid funding that we get. But I just want to point out that our year-to-date for Medicaid was only $80,729. Is all we got from Medicaid for the entire fiscal year last year. So if we were to take some kind of a hit, it's to the smaller collection line of our collections than anything. So I just want to get out and let y'all know that they're working on it, but I don't foresee a huge major hit on our collections with the new budget deal through the federal government.
All right, next on the agenda, Robert, don't sit down, related to what we were just discussing. I would like to pull this agenda item unless you all want us to vote on it.
Well, I don't think
I
there's,
think it's premature at this point, after the discussion we just had, to vote on this.
well, I think whatever we're gonna do, Scott, we still share the same location, so I don't really think this would be premature.
The MOU is still gonna be required regardless.
Right.
We have had
I agree.
agreements to work to build on these towers and such.
I mean, even if we went to a completely different system or different vendor or whatever, they still put it on the same
It's
site.
still gonna be on the same, unless we're gonna build
Which we're not.
2 new towers.
Which we're not.
No, correct. So,
So I think we're still good, my personal opinion is I think we're still good to go.
All right, then I'll leave it on the agenda. That's what's on the floor right now for discussion, is a memorandum of understanding between us and the city of Taylorville. I don't know if you all have read through it. It spells out some transactions of equipment and how we're trading equipment around. Still though, nowhere does it say in there about the third, but that is the agreement that we all have.
I make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding between Spencer County Fiscal Court and the City of Taylorsville.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Jim, second by Mike, to approve the memorandum of understanding between the fiscal court and the city of Taylorville as pertaining to upgrades, if and when made, by, on our communication equipment.
This spells out somewhere if, because like you read page 103, it says fiscal court agrees to 500% annual service EMS maintenance contract under it. It says the city will pay for law enforcement. Where does it say if?
Where I just said if,
Yeah.
well, like we can terminate this agreement.
All right,
Something
that's all I need to hear.
come together. Corey?
Yeah, do we have actual addresses for all these tower locations? I think that would be important to include. There's minor issues with capitalization and so forth, city fiscal court throughout. I think the location, the addresses need to be listed either in section D or when you're talking later on about the locations. Under E, anyone entering the site shall notify the owner of the site. That one I don't have as much issue with radio. Well, the parties, my suggestion, parties agree that they will notify each other in the event they discover any damage in equipment at any radio site location as soon as damage is discovered or as soon as practical thereafter. There was the third bullet is where it talks about notifying each other damage calls for that. Do we have in F, I guess, bullet for fiscal court agrees to install the building generator? Do we have specs that are going to be required of the size of the building, what type of generator?
It would be the same as the other sites have already. I couldn't tell you what those specs are, but there's only one water tower that does not have a building or a generator or the air conditioning in it, and that's the Hickory Ridge water tower, has none of that up there.
And again, if you all came to us and said we're building the Taj Mahal, we could terminate the agreement.
We're not doing the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
All right,
This is
I think my motion was premature, and so I'm gonna rescind my motion.
I'm gonna rescind my second.
And we'll let the county attorney put information that he wants to put in this agreement, and we'll go on later.
I don't know.
That's what I was going for.
Oh,
Do we need to vote on that, or we just put it on?
We'll just, Madam Clerk, if you would note that the motion was rescinded and second.
I thought you were just gonna put, because of the timeline, I don't know.
No,
I got one question while we're on it. It says you're at the Hickory Ridge location, which is the city-owned location. We've got to build a building and generator. We can understand our bills, they're going to supply all for our county sheriff, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, why are we building a generator and a building there for? It's a city-owned building. Why are they doing that? Why they're still doing work?
because they already have equipment at other places. They've already given up. And again, it's still third, and third. We'll split it up. We're gonna split the cost that way.
So we've got buildings and equipment already in place in certain areas too, so we want to sell it.
Well,
Or is there gonna be a way, like, so obviously people are giving up equipment and stuff, and other people are buying equipment and investing into this. What's the proper way for us to keep track of
What's what?
You know, I've donated this, I've bought it, so, you know, and to see how things even out there, everybody gets to the third. I mean, what's the best way to do this?
Well, have an inventory of what's being done by whom. You know, you've got different agreements, I think. I know the fire district's out, but the final bullet on that still has fire district included. You know, the breakdown, I think now is the city for law enforcement county, we're getting that fire district for 5 hours, so. You know, it may, I don't know if it's still gonna be the third, or if it's just gonna be the responsibility, third, kind of break it off that way.
Well, that's gonna get there.
But,
I mean, everybody's gonna have a different interpretation if we don't play that little there.
Yeah, that's kind of the specificity on not only towers, but what exactly other obligations would, you know, by who, you know, each.
Who drafted this whole thing?
I think it's based on the fire district's original.
That was already there.
Yeah, the fire district already has the
One
money
thing
that the city
that
ever
says-
uses.
This is definitely
Once
changed.
we build this and put the generator in,
Change,
then
just
we'll
like-
transfer ownership, and then the
No,
city's
it's probably
probably
the newest one that was
responsible for all the
updated.
utilities and maintenance.
No. The physical court agrees to provide 100% of the annual service and maintenance contract for the generator system in Hickory Ridge Tower. So, I mean, we're still taking the.
Taking the maintenance contract.
Yeah.
Of the Hickory Ridge now.
Yes, but that's the one we're building the generator up to. I mean, it's just a lot of, I'm not saying that it's not that way, I'm not trying to say that, I'm just saying there's a lot of,
I saw
All room for interpretation.
yeah.
all the other locations already have the proper building, already have the proper generators, and already have the proper
Yes.
air.
As far as the building, the high school could build the building for us, I mean, it's not an elaborate building, it's just like a, it's
Just hold up.
just a
I'm not saying, I'm not
prefab.
saying that, I'm just saying,
Wooden shed.
I'm not trying to get hung up on, I'm just saying, we've already got our location set up there, and the city has obviously got their locations already set up. This is a city-owned location that we are wrapping up to become a new tire. And it makes no sense for us to be using our money to, we're gonna turn around and give it to them anyway, to me. And then we're turning around and we're doing 100% of the maintenance on it anyway, so I think we can either build the building and the generator,
And then we own it.
or they build it and we maintain it, one, two, is what seems like works best for people, we do it all up there.
Right.
But then there's two others that, you know, we probably have to readdress because you have generators and buildings and everything at other places that someone else would be paying to operate.
which doesn't make sense to me either, so we've already got our buildings and our own generators that we're already maintaining and we already own, why are we?
Well, it wouldn't be fair for us to say, well, we're gonna keep up and pay for the electricity on all three. We're not saying that.
I know you're not saying that, but I'm just saying, they've got stuff already in place, and they are spending money to update the system as it is. They're updating our location. Yes, we are getting to use it, but we are also doing the same thing for them. It seems like it's convoluted to me.
The
I'm not
fire
saying
district-
that,
But the fire district is gonna keep, their towers are already set up at the buildings, they're gonna continue to maintain theirs. So they're just their own little world there, and then us in the city are gonna more or less have these problems.
Yeah, well, we're maintaining, we've got them on.
I'm not saying nothing bad, I'm just saying, they're just worried about their stuff, essentially you could just say it's us in the city.
So, maybe
If I'm
I,
wrong, say so, and I'm not saying that, that's
you
just
know,
what it sounds like.
I appreciate all these details, because details are very important, especially in the business we're in. But maybe I have too much faith in cooperation, but I have seen nothing but total cooperation between the fire department, the city, the sheriff, the EMS. Up until now, we've all been on the same page.
Well, we haven't known anything about this, not saying nothing bad, we've not been in the center of the talks, so
Well-
remember that.
I understand, and I'm not diminishing that at all, because yes, that's essential. That's
10 of these
essential.
questions could already been answered
Well,
in separate meetings,
but a lot of them we won't know until we get the bids in. So,
but this has nothing to do with the bidding, though. This says us entering an MOU with the city to get all this done. This has nothing to do with the bidding process.
Basically, the MOU with the city has given us permission
Permission to do all
put
this.
the stuff at their water tower.
So Corey's gonna rewrite this. Do we want to make a change to it to
Yes.
say that the city should be, once we turn this over to the city, that they're responsible for maintenance of it?
Yeah.
Of that one generator and
Because
building?
what this reads, the city will maintain all ownership of the building generators at all city-owned locations. It doesn't say anything about maintaining any of the equipment, any of the buildings. But it does say that we are agreeing to provide 100% of the service and maintenance for all that.
I think the whole point of this is to try to make it, I think the point of it is to try to make it even.
Yes, we can.
Between the county and the city.
Why don't we just have Corey rewrite it, whatever he thinks it needs to be, then we bring it back, we discuss
And
it.
then we'll discuss
He
it.
could, Corey could email whatever changes he looks at to all of us, and then we can respond back, say, well, what about this? And
Well, we
then
don't,
we can,
no, we don't want to buy it.
whatever.
But yeah, I'll talk with Robert, I mean, ultimately,
Robert Miles, the attorney.
well, Robert Clinton.
And Robert
And
Miles,
then the other Robert, city attorney.
and Mr. Hodge with the fire department.
I had no hands in the.
Right. But
I'm not,
in terms
I
of getting,
didn't, I mean,
yeah,
this was the MOU that Nathan had on file, I believe. They made some changes to it. They showed it to their attorney, they showed it to the city attorney.
So only right, the county attorney look at it as well.
So now the county attorney gonna let it.
So,
Well, now the county
we'll
attorney.
get the specific.
how long is that gonna take you to,
I mean,
What's
I've
that?
got a red line document on.
By the next meeting?
I can send it to Robert.
You want to see his notes, that's where he got the
Yeah.
change so far.
so by the next meeting, he should have a document that we can look at and say, okay, this is what, yeah, we're gonna agree with.
And I'll talk with both Roberts, try to get that.
That's just the first page, so.
All right. All right, that's it, Robert, you sit down there, thank you. You want me to do? Pay rates and Edmondson Road discussion, I want to discuss those in executive session. Page 105, the recycling grant. If you would turn to that page.
How much money was the grant?
Well, it's on there.
Trying to find it.
$1,000.
$82,920. And,
We ended up getting all of that.
yeah, the check's done been deposited, the recycling grant, they really pay quick and have been, friendly to us, and I'll give Karen Spencer credit for that. She, I told y'all, she and I were going to training rooms together, and the lady in charge would spot her when she comes in the door, yell at her, and want to come talk to her. And, you know, I guess since we've been seated here, about every grant she's applied for, we've gotten, I think. So, but she got approved for this. They sent us a check for that $82,000, Doug, what, a couple months ago probably?
Seems like the state usually pay, recycling and solid waste monies we end up getting, we get before the year is over the year before, so.
Right, so the money's on there.
The recycling grants on fiscal year and the solid waste monies is on a calendar year, so.
But basically, Jacoby's had the skid loader a month ago, and when July 1 come around, they wanted to get it off their lot. So they've already brought the skid loader to us, but we can't write them a check. Even though we approved the grant, we gotta approve the expenditure of paying for the.
Motion to approve, paying for all the items listed.
Second. All right, we have a motion by Will, second by Zach, to approve the skid loader, the baler, and the mesh trailers that are listed on page 105 to approve
That
those.
motion includes, transferring the funds to,
Well,
to the county requiring funds to transfer.
yeah, well, it would approve the expenditures of the items listed and also transferring the money to the proper account. You get all that?
Put transfer on transfers for the.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? And you will see that there was an additional warranty. I went ahead and approved the $2,000 warranty. I think it's added 4 years, 3 or 4 years more warranty on the, so now I think we've got 5 years warranty on the Kubota, I think. It's either 4 or 5, but I think it's 5. But that wasn't part of the original bid, the extra warranty. I thought you all agreed that was a good investment on a $52,000 machine. So, and that's bumper to bumper. All right, any other discussion on these items? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Do you have a plan, is that baler gonna go in there where the rest are, or is that gonna be a problem down the road? Are you not sure?
Now, we're gonna move this summer when we get a little more caught up.
To the maintenance building thing?
Yeah, move everything over and take care of it then, so.
I'm talking to Daniel about that, too, there was some issues with that.
Well,
What I have heard.
we have to, we've been discussing this, we met out there the other day, and there's not enough power at one building, and they've talked with the electrical inspector as to what we need to do. And of course, Daniel being an electrician, he can, you know, perform the work. But to move over, we will have to add need to put a 400 amp service over on that building. It doesn't have one. The other building does. I think I got that right. So, but we have to do matching somewhat in like kind work, and all the work we do will go towards our matching. So, anyway, it sounded like it was all in order. So, all right. We go over this minute, all right?
Yeah. Sure. I just had a question when I seen that, was curious,
Yeah.
I've heard chatter about.
All right, yeah, but the idea is, and you all disagree if you don't think it's a good move, is to move into the bigger building, and then the existing building where the balers are now, we can like put the cardboard inside, and when we have dry cardboard, they will come and get it better, and we get paid better, and so we should have less on hand, having the dry versus having the wet. And then another thing we can consider is they will, if you load up dry, Karen mentioned they would park a trailer. Of course, you gotta watch loading park trailers. You overload them in the front, they'll tip on you. But nonetheless, we could actually use a trailer for storage, for some of this cardboard, and then once it gets full, they would drop an empty trailer, take the loaded trailer, But those are things to consider, but we're planning to move over into the bigger building. We think that would be a step in the right direction. And what we're doing in the animal shelter, old animal shelter portion, is there's lots of room in there. Daniel is, of course, I believe they got flooded here the other day when town flooded. Daniel's office got some water in it. And Lynn, he said the voting machines were good shape as far as we know. And, but we're, yeah, thank goodness, we're still, Representative Tipton, we are still number one to get a judicial center this coming budget session. And, you know, the idea, an idea that I have and agree, well, all of us, because we'll all be deciding on it. But nonetheless, where Daniel's getting flooded and where we're not using UniFirst anymore, Maggie could use Daniel's portion to do some more storage on like the rugs and things, which we got a bunch of these rugs from Sam's Club for like 19 something a piece. And you know, when we were paying for those rugs, yeah, they were like $2, but then we had to pay a $20 staging, $26 staging fee. So every time they changed the rug, we could have bought a rug. So, but nonetheless, Daniel is going to move over into the old animal shelter portion. And then we have some additional office space there. Where I'm going is, I'm vacating this old building over here somewhat, except for Lynn and her voting machines. And if we ever do get the new judicial center, we'll get a new place for voting machines. A whole new place somewhere else. If they agree to build it on our property there. That'll be a discussion for another day, but we are making those changes, and I welcome all the court. At any point, stop in, look it over, and if you come up with a better idea, please share it. Share with us. All right, any other comments on old business? All right, going to new business. On page 110, we have a appointment of Katie Stone as a deputy judge, and Katie is in attendance with us today. We had a first reading on this relating to the continuity of government last meeting. We will have a second reading today. It's on page 111. Everybody have that in their book? So entertain a motion to approve the second reading on the continuity of government, which would be appointing Katie Stone as deputy judge.
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, have a motion by Will, seconded by Zach, to approve ordinance number 1, which would be the second reading of the continuity of government. Any discussion?
Has Katie been sworn in yet?
She will be immediately following adoption of this resolution.
By the judge, or whatever
Yeah.
else we get?
Yep. I mean, when I say immediately following, I mean like
Yeah.
in 10 seconds.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
congratulations.
Thank you.
well, we gotta pass it first.
I don't know if we should congratulate you or say sorry.
I know.
So, any discussion on the ordinance? We got a first and a second?
Yep.
All right, all those in favor of the ordinance number 1, second reading, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Katie, if you'd like to come and you have the
Somebody get a
paperwork.
Speech.
She's changed clothes already.
I didn't know I was coming today.
You want me to get a picture of that?
Yeah. I think it's there.
Yeah, it does.
All right. Please raise your right hand. All right. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as I continue a citizen thereof, and I will faithfully execute to the best of my ability the office of Spencer County Deputy County Judge Executive according to law. And I do further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, I, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help me God.
I will.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck. We'll sign that and get it recorded. And I want to thank Katie for accepting that position, and as governance continues, and Caitlin, good to see you over. We have been very busy the last couple months. That's an understatement. So, all righty, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. All right, next on page 112, in your books, put together a resolution. It's kind of like, if y'all remember last meeting, we had a resolution for the sanitation district. The up and coming budget session, Frankfurt, Representative Tipton, likes to hear from parties that have goals that they share in needs, and basically this resolution states that we would request that he would request $2 million from the state budget to build a community park in downtown. It's not obligating anything other than it's obligating us to ask James Allen to get $2 million from the state budget.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Jim, seconded by Zach, to approve this resolution, requesting Representative Tipton to get us some help to build a community park in downtown Taylorsville at the old ball field. Dan, is there any discussion?
Sorry, Dan, that's you.
Okay. And basically, I have talked to Ms. Clevenger, the chair of the school board, and Dr. Foster. My understanding, they have already committed to working with the other two entities, us and the city, to try to see this through. I was at a special call meeting. The city was going to present this, but it would have been out of line because it wasn't on the agenda. So I didn't bring it up then. But I wanted to get it rolling here because Representative Tipton wants these as soon as he can get them in. So that's why we have this. So any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of the resolution say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So we will get that passed on to the other two entities. All right, on page 113, the commissioner of the transportation there, not Commissioner of Transportation, but Commissioner of the Department of Rural and Municipal Aid, Bobby Jo Lewis, nice lady to talk to. She sent, basically this program, it started as the discretionary program, then they turned it into the CPP program, now they've turned it into House Bill 546 LARP. I forget what LARP stands for. Anyhow, if you look on page 117, we are in the category of, if we are to get LARP money, we have to match it 20%. So I asked Todd to go out, find all the junky roads, because these are the ones that have to be a 9 or a 10, or they don't get funding. If y'all remember our first year in, we didn't get anything. So I cried to them, and last year we got $277,000, and I cried again, but this year we got zero. This coming year. So what this will be request for next year. They have to have it by October, and we will need approval of these roads. Now these have nothing to do with. I was looking, Todd has Mitchell Lane on the end. What road did we blacktop? I was gonna look on the map.
We did blacktop Mitchell Lane, but I don't think we blacktop
The other part, the whole part.
the whole.
Now we stopped about half or 3/4 of the way.
Did we blacktop the back end of it or something?
I thought we did the beginning.
Yeah, it is in front of the back.
been swayed to draft that ball?
Well, I'd like to do it with budget money, that way it'll be a sure thing.
That's cool.
Because these are not sure things.
Okay, I got you.
These are, again, junky roads that should be the junkiest of the junk that would have to be a 9 or a 10 to qualify. And, which, I mean, y'all look the list over, you can think of worse roads, but nonetheless, Todd put these together, and I agree they could all use some attention. And you see that 588,000 is the estimate, and then we would have to match it with 117 with 20%. We can do that without any issue. Last year, guys, you all know, we budgeted about 300,000 blacktopping out of budgeted money. We got 277 out of CPPP, we got 150 or so out of flex. We did 700,000 total blacktopping, which if you get out and ride around, you can see that it helped a lot. But, we'll have to come up with this if these get approved. And there's not a guarantee that all 10 of them or 11 of them would get approved, but a portion of them could, and then we would have that much. So, but I have these to present. If you all want, want to make some changes to them, we can not pass them today and do them next meeting, but I want to get them in as soon as possible.
Well, unless somebody's got something, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, seconded by Dan, to approve the list of 11 roads to turn into the House bill, let me get this right, to the HB 546 Lark Road Improvement Program with the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Any discussion? We'll go ahead and get these turned in. So.
I know one thing they talked about at the meeting is you have to have a picture of the road.
Yeah,
Every
300 feet.
foot.
Yeah, and I think they have done that.
They come down here and, try to keep it up with the iPad and do that with, because the phone one had to take up space, storage space.
Yeah.
I was down here, just happened to be down here, you got to do it, I ain't put anything.
So, yeah, we got, all that have to be submitted, and I know they did it, so. All right, any other discussion? And again, this doesn't take away from, anything we choose to do, budgetary. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all for that. Salt auction results. Basically, we got 500 ton of salt lined up. You see on page 124. The cost was about $20 more. But you can see the 120 and 50 cents was the lowest bid, and you see the other two bids. But we got 500 ton locked in. So,
How does that go as far as filling up the building out there?
We can get us whenever we need it.
Well, I
Yeah.
know.
yeah, right now the building is not full.
I mean, where's it stand right now, like 25% full?
There's a great big pile still in there. I've asked them, and then I forget, I asked them, there's several hundred ton in there.
Okay.
We bought 1,000 ton or something, and it seemed like we've used 700-800, so it's probably a couple hundred ton maybe.
I know we talked about how we wasn't having nothing there when snow season comes, that they can salt what they need to salt without fear of running out.
Right.
What does the city use for their salt? Because I was at the meeting where they said that they were going, their contract was $108.
Of course, that's probably last year's or this coming
No,
year.
they were going to renew it at the same price as last year.
Huh, I don't know.
Now you say something.
They don't use very much salt really either.
Yeah, they probably don't use much.
Yeah,
Usually it's not a better price.
see, we got, I want to say we had two prices last year.
Pretty cheap.
But that 101, right, it was 101. And I mean, this one being $20, I thought, of course, I know what tires and diesel fuel. Of course, diesel fuel's down from a few years ago, but running a truck is not even cheaper than it was. Probably went up.
Running the truck is not cheap, period.
Period at all, right. But nonetheless, this is where we landed, that we don't need to take any action on that one. So I just wanted to share with you all that we got 500 ton lined up. All we gotta do is, drop the hammer and we'll get it, so. All right, next on the agenda, we've got up at the Senior Citizen Center, the air conditioner quit. You can imagine it's been pretty warm in there for a few days, but I told them to work on it, and I don't know that, I think what they did is they altered some of their times that they was operating. But we have a couple bids in here. Apples to apples, we have a bid for $8,200 from Palmer's, and we have a bid, two bids from Martin's. One is a train system, and then another is a different system that is the cheapest price. And I was trying to read through them. Go ahead, Mike.
I moved to go with Martin Heating and Air for the one bid for $7,567.
Second. All right, we have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, to go with Martin Heating and Air on the multi-purpose center for the price of $7,567 with Martin's. Go ahead, Dan.
I know it's lowest bid, but it's a lot smaller system too.
Well, it's still 3.5 ton, I think.
They're both 3.5 ton, this
Yeah,
train.
one's 14.3 seer, the other one's 11.7.
No, they're both 14.3.
Oh, okay.
So you just skip the line or something like that.
Okay, yeah, okay.
They're pretty comparable, just another train.
Never mind.
So, all right, we have a motion and a second on the floor to go with Martin's at the 75.67 price. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So we will get them notified and hopefully get the air on. Next, we have a surplus property declared on page 135, and then we've got pictures of some odd ends. I thought that was a snake on page 136. Start off with a piece of jump rope or something laying in the floor. We have some desks and different things, so we'll need to make a motion to surplus these items.
Motion to surplus.
Second.
All right, have a motion by Zach, second by Mike, to surplus the items. I guess we'll have to add in the paper, and then we'll surplus at auction, at Jules' next auction. Does that suit everybody? All right, that's all right with the secondary and all.
I'd say some of the stuff they can just throw in the dumpster.
Well,
We got a surplus, we can't tell them.
I don't know if that's true or not.
so, all right, well,
Just in case you ever know, Dan.
so I know some of that came to the health department when they were cleaning out. That reminds me.
We're prepared for anything.
They did some upgrading, and they had all this stuff they wanted to give away, and it was like wanting to take it all. We got some stuff we needed, and then other stuff, now it's sitting around, so. All right, have a motion and a second on the floor to surplus these items. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, we did, next, I think that concludes everything except the invoices, bills, and transfers, and we do have a lengthy executive session after we approve the invoices, bills, and transfers. If you noticed, some folks are already taking advantage of getting their clothing. I noticed a few of those in there where we're doing the clothing allowance. I mentioned UniFirst. It hadn't been a seamless transition, but we're working through it. We had some differences in some pricing and things and charges. I feel like we've got all of them worked out. Then we had some discussion on their soap machines, their soap dispensers, and I feel like we've got those worked out. next month, if there's a UniFirst bill at all, it'll be very, very small, and the month after, we shouldn't see them anymore. Be
You
my
know,
prediction.
I didn't see it on here, but you know what, Brian we voted last meeting about that side by side, I just didn't see it on here, I just seen it.
Well, I told Brian last week that, go ahead and get it lined out to where we can go get it. Cause we've already voted to do it, and,
They have to wait right to the first fiscal year, that's
Yeah.
first, so that's just one of
yeah, we're ready to go get it.
Seemed like with the Elk Creek Animal Hospital, pretty nice one.
Well, we had a lot of animals. I don't disagree with you. I like that when it's very, very cheap. But, and then we've got,
I was just making note, I wouldn't argue.
we've got the jail bill again, Cheryl. I always talk about the jail bill, but we had one just last meeting. I know we don't pay it $50,000 every 2 weeks. Do we, Doug? No, we don't. It's about 50 a month, right?
It was probably on average 40 to
Yeah.
45
Per
range,
month.
but the last 2 months have been higher, but then usually as summer months get here, there's a little more activity with DUIs and lake traffic, that kind of stuff, I guess.
You need to hold the behave, Judge.
Yeah, well, they ain't listening for some reason.
Motion to pay the bills and make the transfers.
All right.
Second.
Have a motion by Zach, second by Dan, to pay the bills and make the transfers. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Is there any other business anyone needs to bring before us before we go on executive session? And bring you out.
I have one thing, I had the Fulton County Court,
Okay.
I'll contacted you, but, we had they made a run in Spencer County. They sent it to the medical examiner, so we're gonna get a bill for that. The person's indigent, and so, yeah, we may end up paying for all that. And,
All right.
they just wanted to let me know that, it's a friend of mine.
Okay.
And I work with the DMS,
Yeah.
that, want to let me know that, to watch for that.
All right, and we did, the lady is laid to rest that we've been discussing. She's laid to rest out of Valley currently, so we've got that taken care of, and that's in our bills here. All right, if there's nothing else that's come before this meeting, I make a motion that we go into executive session for KRS 61-810B, which talks about future acquisition and sale of real estate. Also, C, which discusses pending litigation on behalf of the agency, and also F, discussion of hearings might lead to appointment, discipline, or dismissal of employee.
Second.
All right, motion by myself, second by Zach, to go into executive session for 61-810, B, C, and F. This is neither favorable nor amendable. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We'll take a break while the good things turn off and focus. Get out.